Hello and welcome. My name is Ajaxpost and yes, we're back here with SimAirport. Yes! Finally, I did promise I would be back with it at the end of the last series. Well, that was way back, sometime back in the winter of 2019. Yeah, about then, some months ago. And I said what I would do here is I would wrap up this airport. Yes, the new series isn't this airport. This is just me wrapping stuff up. I would be back and I would attempt to recreate a real airport, and that's what we plan to do. Now, interestingly, which is why it's so good that I've come back to the game now, is that after nearly 3 years or so in early access, the game was finally pushed to full release on February the 29th, 2020. A day that will go down in, well, the history of this game, really, I suppose. But yeah, so what I'm doing, we're following our people through here on the one final day of activity in my airport. As you can see, I did quite well, I think, with this. My first playthrough of the game. That's the basement downstairs, that's where all the baggage is collected. People who are arriving at this airport. And we had a 3-level airport, 2 floors above ground and 1 basement level. And as you can see, quite a few gates in operation. Now, quite a bit has changed in the game since we finished this past series. And it's been a while since I played it, so things may go a little bit awry. And I may get confused or bemused or astonished by some of the new features that have been put into it. But let's crack on with it. What we're going to do, I'm in fact not going to wait for these planes to arrive. I've come into my office. What I'm going to do is go straight to the finance page and sell my airport. I'm going to make $8 million from this airport, and that's all very nice indeed. And this is where we find ourselves. Welcome back to a brand new empty plot of land. Now, what do I plan to do with this plot? I plan to turn it into a vague facsimile, a sort of replication, but it won't be anywhere near accurate, of Bristol Airport. That's Bristol in England, down here in the southwest of our country. Now, Bristol Airport isn't a great big place. What I'm going to do here is I'll put up a few photographs I've collected of Bristol Airport to give you an idea of the size and shape of it. It's a fairly small main terminal building. It is a regional airport. It's not a major international one, though it does have flights going out to various parts of the world, mostly Europe and around there, to be honest. Of our regional airports in the UK, it is one of our busiest and certainly does see a lot of passenger traffic and so on going through it. And it is apparently reasonably profitable, though it's not profitable enough to actually have a full infrastructure built around it. There is no direct rail link to it, and it is built in the middle of open countryside, so there's a lot of environmental issues surrounding the development of the airport, and it was in fact in this last few months refused expansion, the permission to expand into a whole new extra bigger terminal, more land and so on. And as part of that discussion, in fact, it came to light that Bristol Airport makes more money from car parking charges than it does from actually servicing air companies and air flights. Well, the things I've learnt about Bristol Airport while I've been researching for this series is that it's not the most modern or high-tech of airports. For example, there are no jetways or passenger bridges or whatever you might to call it from the departure gates to the actual aircraft stand. So everyone either walks from the departure gate out to the aircraft or is bussed out to a slightly more remote gate. And it only has one runway. So there's not a lot in terms of great construction that I'll be doing in this, but I do hope to make a fairly good replication of the sort of layout and design of Bristol Airport. Now, what I will try and I will actually fiddle with that design a little bit, in that I will put in a couple of jetways because they look good, if nothing else. And it'll be interesting to actually see the remote gates in operation. And one thing that struck me, I've not actually travelled from Bristol Airport for many years, a good many years, so I'm not quite sure how the passengers travel through the airport. So if you've got any recent experience of travelling through Bristol Airport, do let me know either in the comments below, or you can message me on Twitter or Instagram if you wish, or I do in fact now have a new blog where I'll be posting updates, well, about this channel and all sorts of other stuff as well, so you can get in touch with me through that as well. So if you've any recent experience of travelling through Bristol Airport, do let me know how it works. I'm particularly interested to know how people get from the departure lounge to the actual gate and then out onto the aircraft, because from the outside it looks like Bristol Airport has just two levels: a ground floor, which is where you come in, check in and so on, or where you leave the airport if you're an arriving passenger, and you then go up a flight to the departure area and you sit around and buy stuff while you're waiting for your aircraft to turn up and start boarding, and then you board the plane. And there is also a mezzanine floor above that first floor where all the fancy restaurants and stuff are to be found. So my first thought is, how do you get passengers from that first floor departure lounge onto the actual apron of the airport itself? So how do they get out to board their plane? Do they go downstairs, or is in fact the level of Bristol Airport kind of askew, in that the entrance to the airport, to the check-in area, is actually lower than the aircraft apron area where you go out to board your plane, or obviously come back into the airport from arriving? So if you've got any experience of that, do let me know. It'd be fascinating to learn, and I'll then try and replicate that as best I can in this model. So what we're going to do here in this first episode is just draw out a rough plan sketch of what we're going to do with the airport, how it's going to look, the size and scale of it. And then in the next episode we will actually get to deal with real construction and building the core of the facilities of the airport. Now the first thing I need to do here is actually buy extra land, because as you can see from the diagrams, it's kind of one long strip of an airport with a main terminal and lots of gates going down, and one long runway going down the other side of this space. I think width wise we're probably okay. We may need to expand out that way. We will see when I get into the real planning of this, but I do need to purchase more land, certainly to the south of this. For that though, I do need to build at least one office with a chief operating officer inside it, who will then allow me to purchase this piece of land. So let's crack on with that. So the first thing we need to work out is where we're going to place our terminal building and the plane stands. Now we've seen from some of the diagrams we've got lots of stands scattered around the end of the terminal building. The terminal building itself is fairly small, so what we're going to do is I'm going to lay out roughly where I think some stands will go. Actually, before I do that, I want to establish a minimum distance from the road, because we will have various bits of road work, I think, coming in here to handle incoming buses and garbage and fuel trucks and stuff like that. So let's go into planning. It's been so long since I played this game, it's been quite a few months, so we'll try and we'll go for magenta, shall we? Okay, so what sort of gap shall we leave there? 1920, does that look? So I think each bit of road is that's 18, is it? Oh, it goes in twos. Right, so each length of road is 2 blocks. Yeah, I think that should be okay. 19, yeah, we'll do that. So let's go back into planning. We'll stick with the magenta for the moment. So that was 19, wasn't it? 18. Oh, it was 18. Yeah. Let's make it 19, shall we? Give ourselves a little bit of extra space. And let's draw this all the way up here so I know roughly where we're looking. Okay, and our terminal building, we'll stick that in yellow. It will actually start down here. Now, the real Bristol Airport has a whole host of administration buildings and so on up here at the entrance from the main Bristol, Somerset, wherever that road goes. It's the A38, I think, if you know the West Country at all. Yep. Yeah, whatever. I think it goes all the way. Yeah, from here there's all sorts of admin buildings and stuff, and then all over here for miles and miles. Well, not quite miles. There's a lot of car parking. And looking at the satellite picture again, actually, there's a whole stack more car parking over this side as well, the far side of the airport. It really is a money-making scheme, is this airport. And the money they make is, as we said, from car parking. Okay, now, the thing with the terminal buildings is they need to be a certain size so you can attach the gates to them, because the gates only fit in certain spaces, as we'll see in a moment. I'm not explaining this terribly well, am I? And I think when I did some earlier calculations, 38 might work as the width of the terminal building. Let's see what happens. We want a gate. If we took a large gate, oh excellent, that fits on there fine. The small gate likewise, and the extra large, I'm not sure we'll do extra large, but yep, okay, so that's the width we need. I think we definitely will need to extend the terminal building down here somewhat. I think it's 120 this length, isn't it? It's not showing me. 120. It says at the very top in this box here, 120, and I think the maximum we need is 150. So we're definitely going to need that. So what I'm thinking is we'll actually do our first bit of building up here to start off the admin buildings. But then again, we have got those gates on the end, haven't we? So where do they fit? Looking back at the pictures, we've got objects building. These would be small gates. They'll be remote gates, in fact. There you go. And they need to. So if we have. Oops, yeah, we need to take that down a bit because we're going to have sort of gates in there and also gates on the other side. Oh, this is going to be at least 3 lengths long, I think, isn't it? If not more. Actually, we can go up that way, can't we? We can go up that way. Yes. I keep looking down here, but of course you can go that way as well. I've never actually. Yes, I did one land expansion in the previous series. Now we're going to need space here for the planes to come in. So in fact, almost all this first block here will be admin, but we need to start admin before we can do anything, and we've got these zones here. Right, let's stop faffing around. Let's get a small gate marked off in here. That's not going to be the place. It might be the place for it. Yeah, we'll stick you in there, and you in there, and you in there. Right, now thankfully in this game you don't get charged for anything until you start getting the supplies and it starts building. So I can place these down, I hope, with impunity. This is going to be right. So if we plan this, so that's where our gates will be, and likewise up here. Okay, and I can cancel these projects here so we don't get charged for them. That's excellent. Yeah, so we'll have the terminal will end around here somewhere. Actually, what we want is, let's clear that out. There we go. Yeah, so the gates actually will start further across this way. So that's wrong already. Already it's getting it wrong. No gate. Okay, so we had one. Whoops, one there, one there, and a roundabout there. So planning right. Something like that. Okay, and we'll clear this because we're not going to put a gate in there, possibly. Okay, right, and we will have our larger gates. These, we'll actually attach these to the terminal itself. Again, this is the issue I've got, is the way I'm not quite sure how everything is structured inside the terminal. So do I want it to be that close? Possibly. We might see. So we'll plan that like so. Just get rid of that. Okay, this is definitely going to change before we get too much further forward, to be honest, but that's the way of things. Right, so let's actually build our first office. So we're going to, I'll put our first office actually in here. Now can I remember how to build all this? We need foundations. So we'll build you wow, this is expensive, isn't it, actually? I wasn't expecting it to be quite forgotten how pricey some of this stuff was. Okay. So we'll put you there. Right, let's get the game running, shall we? I've only got 2 workmen. We'll see how quickly they progress things. Okay, they're picking up the stuff from the delivery van that they need. I think the walls come in automatically with the foundation, don't they? And we're going to need some staff doors. Yeah, they're in here somewhere. One thing I am doing on here is, in this game, I am putting a lot of mods in. So we can show those off as well. But for the moment, we'll just start with stuff. This area is actually far too big for an office. So, zoning, an office. Yeah, it doesn't need to be too big. Where are they going with all these supplies? Oh shoot, they're actually... Oh, I forgot to cancel these projects. Darn it. Right. Oops. Right. That's me getting carried away and not paying attention. Right, let's get them speeded up a bit. Let's actually get this office built so I can employ my first executive and expand our land. I definitely need more than 2 workers, so let's go up to 5. Oh, and of course they're retrieving all that those materials that I hadn't used to build the stands. But at least that material is now in my airport, so it's not entirely wasted cost. I have the materials that I can use to build other stuff. Yeah, I will need walls around that office. Let's actually put some objects in there. We'll need an office desk. Put you in there. An office char. There we go. Does it tell me what the office requires in here? It's just a fully enclosed space with a door. Okay, well, I'm going to give my chaps at least a desk and a chair. Let's get them rushing on with it. Okay, so now they've actually completed the whole foundations. Can I now put the internal walls in? I can! Excellent. Right, so that's that done. So it requires an enclosed space. It is enclosed. I don't understand why it's complaining. Let's see if these walls... Oh, yeah, the zone itself is part of this bigger open space. I think that's what it's complaining about. Good, good, good. I'm desperately trying to remember how this game worked. Right, I have an office. Excellent. So I just need to employ an administrator who is a COO. He's going to cost me 12.5 grand, 450 an hour. That's fine. And he's travelling to work now. One thing to bear in mind here is because I'm not starting the game afresh, because it is essentially a continuation of my previous game, I do have all my previous research here, which I completed on the earlier airport, and obviously I have the money I had from the sale of that airport. Now, can I? I can purchase these land parcels now. That's over 500,000 for that. As a safety measure, the game does go and save your progress during the land expansion. There were issues in some of the early access builds where going to the expansion caused the whole thing to crash and burn. We'll purchase that as well. Okay, right, we do need to dismantle this fence. Is that demolish or dismantle? It looks like demolish will work. And that, because we need to extend everything down from there. So if that's going to be, I'm just wondering if this width of terminal building is going to be enough, or if I need to take it out further. I'm not sure. Let's just test where the next gate spot will be. So a large gate. Okay, so it's there, 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 or there. We may need to go out further this way so that I've got enough room to build stuff in here. The ground floor isn't a big deal. It's the upper floor with all the departure lounges and so on that I need to deal with. So I'm wondering if I need it to be out that far or that far. Let's see if we can make it really big, because we've obviously got enough room, I think, over here for the runway. Okay. Yeah, let's take that there. Right, so I'm in pause mode. Good. I need planning. I will make all this yellow. Okay, and this will be white for the gate. Okay, and then don't forget to cancel construction of that gate there. Yeah, I think that looks better. I think that looks better for me. Okay, so we need to plan this down further. Where's my yellow? There we are. These squares are actually surprisingly small, and my inability to hit a spot accurately is clearly evident. Okay, now the ground floor I think is actually shorter. It's not as wide as the upper floors. So, or no, it isn't, I don't think. But we'll plan that out. Okay, so the taxiway. Okay, how wide is a taxiway? Well, the taxiways are very wide. Okay, so that's that. Okay, and it's going to be interesting where these gates go in here. Okay, so, and you will go out that way. Okay. Oh, why can I not? It's not sufficiently clear. Oh, they haven't cleared the fence yet. Okay, do that. Good people. Or, okay, that's better. So I can put that down there. And that's one big square either way. Does the planning colour give me that? It does, sort of. Oh, that's interesting. It only goes up in one direction. Okay. So we probably don't need it to go down there. Do I? Let's make sure I cancel all these taxiway spots that I've put in until I know exactly what I'm doing. And you. And our runway. Concrete or asphalt? Yeah, now you notice here that it's saying I've got so much stuff in stock, and that's obviously because when I laid those taxiways and left them in place in error earlier, it's got that stuff delivered. The concrete is more expensive, presumably longer lasting. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, but how long? So if that's, so that is 130. Let's get rid of the fencing. Come on, guys, hurry along. I didn't want to have too many workers in situ because I am paying all the hourly rate wages for them and my administrator, and in fact I'm paying $50 every hour or so for a bus to turn up, which obviously isn't terribly helpful, seeing as I've got nothing to no passengers to put through it. Okay, so that's 150 down there. Okay, that might work. That might work. I think the taxiways are slightly more complex, as we've seen on the satellite images of Bristol Airport, but that could be good. I think that'll be good. Okay, right, so we've got the runway building started. I think the next thing to do is we've got a gate area there. Let's have another, put another one in. In there and there. I think actually I think I want to move them down a bit because there were lots of stands up here for the aircraft, weren't there? So No, that might... No, I think no. I think that will work. I think if we leave those in there, that gives us enough room, I think, to play around. When I want to build my full administration office, I can purchase that parcel of land up there for that, I think. Okay, so let's just plan that out. White. Okay. We will stick you in there. That's good. Don't forget to cancel the building of these gates. Right. Yes. Let's move on. Okay, we'll get them building the runway. We will then move on to getting the terminal building sorted out, I think. Yep, so let's lay some foundations for that. How much is that going to cost me to do that? And remember, I'm going to need at least 2 floors of this. 4 million. Yikes, that's a lot. Okay. That is a lot more than I was expecting. I can still take out loans though, because I've got a good credit record from the previous airport. I could be okay. I could be okay. Do I want to... Yeah, the plan is to build it properly from scratch, I think, from the start. So let's do it. Okay. And if I go to the bank and I... Oh, I need a CFO. I need another office. Okay. Right. Okay. So we'll put a CFO in here. Actually, the door should have been there with a little corridor, shouldn't it, really? So let's build some walls. Another little wall in here. That'll do. And... Oh, well, actually we'll do if we build that there, that there. Okay, now can I won't dismantle that door just yet. We'll put more doors in. So, okay, objects, let's just search for door. Okay, now the modern staff door here is a lovely looking glass thing as opposed to a solid wooden door, and is a mod. I will create a Steam collection for all the mods I'm using in the game, so it may take me a little while to get that together and constructed, but yeah, if you want to check out which mods I'm using, and there are loads now for SimAirport, do check out the collection, and there'll be a link for that in the description below this video. So let's put that, actually let's put that here. No, we'll put that there, and we'll have ordinary doors but into the offices. So we'll have a modern door there, and a modern door there, and I'll replace that door there with wall when I've done. Okay, let's zone that out as an office. Okay, an office desk. Which way around is that pointing? There we go. And an office chair. There we go. Oh, we have office... Again, this is... Oh, and it does tell you their mods here, which is very handy, actually. Because it can be very easy to get... Oh, there's a grey desk. Oh, there's so much here. Closed cabinet, half-open cabinet. Oh, I love these. An office shelf. No, we're gonna have very basic offices, I think, to start with. Okay. Now, do I want to prioritize the building? Now, I've had this trouble before clicking these options. Nope. And you can be high as well. No, high. Why can't I click it? Why can I not click the right thing? There you go. Okay, so it should build that first before it gets onto the bulk of all this runways. Oh, they're going to the runway. I'm going to need more workers. Right, let's get another 5 on site. Okay. Right, so what we will do, we'll fast forward this a bit and we'll come back when we've got our next office sorted out, and we'll start looking at taking out that big loan. Be with you in the flash of a quick video effect. And they're just about to complete the construction of my main terminal building so far. A few things have changed while the other side, the previous side of that little video effect. I actually reduced the size of this terminal building. As you can see, I've pulled it in a little bit. I have, however, already spent that money on the concrete, so there's going to be lots of concrete waiting around here in storage for the next development that I do, the next build I do. And I also had to increase the delivery zone because there was so much construction material they needed for this huge terminal building that it just got overloaded. Likewise, I moved the drop-offs and pickup points down here, more in line with where they will eventually be, perhaps. But I have a suspicion I might have created this building a little bit too big. If we have a check of objects, ops, is it? Where have we got them? Oh yeah, the ticketing desk. Yeah, the ticketing desk is very small. So yeah, that is tiny in this space. We will put quite a few in, and we will have some cafes and stuff over here. And indeed, the sort of central concourse area of Bristol Airport is fairly open and spacious, but I have a feeling it's a bit more open and spacious than it needed to be in this example. So yeah, well, what we might do is, having built the second office, I will employ the finance officer shortly, so we can extend our loan, which obviously increases the amount of money I have to pay on a daily basis. But hopefully that will allow me, with all the extra workmen I've employed, I've now got 25. If I haven't said that before, that's one other thing I did. I increased the number of workmen I've got to 25 to get this thing finished and progress the building, the initial building of the airport more quickly. Once we've got that in, we should be, the costs will go up, but if we can get the thing built quite quickly, we should be able to start getting some revenue in from flights and all the other good stuff. But I think that's where we will leave it for now. A reminder, this will be a mod inclusive series. There'll be lots of mods that I'll be placing around the buildings, so check out my collection on the Steam forums, link in the description below. And while you're there, check out the workshop. Generally, there is loads of good mods on the workshop now for SimAirport. And in the next episode, we'll carry on with the building. We may just work on this first floor to start with, just to get some money coming in. But I don't want to get too carried away and just end up straight away going bankrupt before this series gets underway. Yeah, you've seen me do that in my other games. Yeah, I'm going to try and avoid doing it in this one. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, it'd be great to hear from you. Just a simple like would be lovely. Even better though, if you've got any thoughts, suggestions, recommendations, or if you've got any information at all about how passengers actually move around inside Bristol Airport terminal, that would be very gratefully received. It'd be great to hear from you. Just drop a note into the comments box below, or join me on any of my other socials, as apparently people say these days: Twitter, Instagram, Blogger. Links again all below in the description, and I will see you again soon with the next one. Until then, bye bye for now.